right, it's Friday. You know what that means. AYS Fight Club is back on your screens. I am one half of your host. I am Dan Dees. Alongside me, as always, is the man of many hats, Matt Bricker. Matt, what is up?
Not too much. Breaking out the Bulls at Illinois basketball. Looking good. They got that number 3 overall ranking right now. So looking good in college basketball.
And y'all might get Russell Wilson up in Chicago. Who knows? Right now, it's an exciting time to be
nice.
an Illinois sports fan. And y'all got the White Sox, the team of 2021.
Together.
Yeah, but we'll talk about other sports at another time. We're here to talk about fighting, and fighting is what we talk about on here. Blake Ruffino, LFG. Yes, indeed. Let's go. Craig Granger, what it is, y'all. What it is, Craig. What's up? And Blake with the comment of the decade right there. LeBron's greater than MJ. That is facts. Big facts. But again, we're not here to talk basketball, we're here to talk fighting. We got a jam-packed show for you all. We got Austin Soileau's making his return to the Fight Club. Probably this is our first recurring guest, so that's pretty cool.
First comeback guest.
UFC 259 it just popped out headline after headline. I'm looking at this whole main card. Like we can talk about each fight and the aftermath and the fallout, every fight from the main card. And one of those fights has me pretty pissed off about the fans. So that's what's going to be happening. Blake asked, Yan stopped Izzy. Surprised? Hey, like Nate Diaz said, we ain't surprised. We called this. We both called it. We knew the size difference in the smaller cage was going to be a factor. It was. But let's go ahead and talk about that main event. Let's talk about Yamlhovers versus Izzy Adesanya. One thing that stood out to me was what I just mentioned was Jan's size did play a factor in this. He swallowed that cage, if you will. But one of my biggest complaints throughout the whole thing was the commentary. If you're a new fan, you're listening to commentary, you would swore Izzy was walking away with this thing. But when it got to the judges' scorecards, the judges saw it how I pretty much scored it. I personally had it 3-2 in favor of Yan. I thought Yan took rounds 1, 4, and 5 when Izzy took rounds 2 and 3. But the judges saw it completely different. They just saw Izzy taking round 2, and that was it. And they even gave two judges gave Yan a 10-8 round. So, Matt, how'd you score that?
Yeah, I had it the same, the 1, 4, and 5 for Yan. I mean, we talked about it. We knew Yan was going to come in even bigger. That's what I said about the weigh-ins. Just because he weighs in at the light heavyweight limit, add on 15 pounds or whatever to that, and that's what he's going to walk into the cage at. Whatever Izzy weighed in at, we knew that was probably going to be about as big as he could get. But with Yan, we knew add another 15 or so on there, and just not surprised. And not only that, but it's a mental thing too. A lot of these guys, especially when Anderson Silva was running amok, they just knew, man, I'm getting in there with Anderson Silva. They were halfway beat before the fight. Yan is just a different kind of guy. He was not intimidated to be getting in there with Izzy. And I think mentally that played a part too.
Well, yeah, another thing that helped Yan on this, which was, I think you're the only person to ever bring this up leading up to it, is that everybody predicted if it got to the later rounds, that spelled disaster for Yan. But as you brought up before, this guy's used to fighting 4 fights in one night back in Poland.
Twice.
So when you brought that up, I had to dig it. So I'm like, yeah, this is happening to me. If it goes to later rounds, I'm actually giving the edge to Yan because Yan, this is his territory. Izzy's never been in this territory at 205 before in his life, but Jan's been there multiple times, multiple. So as soon as it got to the rounds 4 and 5, I was starting to feel a little bit more confident. I think Yan was feeling comfortable too. I feel like after round 3, he felt that he took Izzy's best shots and he was still standing. He didn't have too much wear and tear on his body. So I think that's when he felt more comfortable, and then he was able to ragdoll him down to the ground, get his takedowns, and was able to work ground and pound. And even in the 5th round, if that 5th round would have went on for like another minute, I think Yan would have got the stoppage, because as soon as that 5th round ended, he was on top of him in a dominating position and just raining down punches, and the horn blew, and that's when it went to the judges' scorecard. So, yeah, I'm definitely not surprised that Yan walked away victorious in this one. I was very happy. But the way the commentators did it, I felt like they had that bias towards Izzy. Do you feel like they had that bias?
Yeah, and I mean, they almost have to because the commentators are UFC employees. Their job is to build up characters and build up the product. The UFC, for as long as it's been around, it's based really off of star powers you've had in the early days. You know, your Ken Shamrocks and your Hoist Gracies, and those are the guys people wanted to see. Then they wanted to see GSP and Matt Hughes, and then Brock Lesnar, Anderson Silva. It's always been being built around names. So Izzy is kind of like that next name, and they're all employees of the UFC, so they're going to try their best to help bolster that star power.
Yeah. Now, do you think it's UFC's responsibility now that Yan has put away their new poster boy, their new golden child? Do you think it's UFC's responsibility to put Yan in these commercials, put Yan in the spotlight a little bit? Because 205 has been a glamour division for a long time, ever since John Jones took the reins. But now they have something in Yan, there's like a presence about Yan that you can promote. You can put in commercials. Like I could think of a commercial off the top of my head to where a kid's like struggling to open a juice box. You get Yan over here and he crushes the juice box and juice gets all over the kid. There you go. Put them in those type of commercials. People will if you put anybody in a commercial, any fighter in a commercial, make them look cool, people will buy his fights. So again, I asked, do you think it's UFC's responsibility at this point to promote Yan?
I mean, of course, I'm going to be a little biased and say yes. I think they should. I think they should have, for years, should have been doing that. But looking at the long-term picture and just looking at their track record of what they've done before, they're not going to. They're going to keep with Izzy, and their whole thing they can fall back on as well. This isn't Izzy's division. You know, he went way up more than what he's used to, and that's always what they're going to fall back on. And you know, they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep building them. And I've commentated for many organizations before, and one thing you do is you try to build up every fighter, even if they're 0, because a lot of times, especially on these, you know, you got amateur shows, you got a guy that's 0-1 against a guy that's 1-3, and you got to make them look like Hall of Famers getting in there because you got to sell the fight as a commentator. Mm-hmm. So that's what they're going to do. I mean, Izzy is who they want to be their next star, so they're going to, you know, latch their carriage to him and make him look like a superstar, even in defeat. Even when he loses, they got to try to have something, you know, to balance on.
Yeah. So now that the dust has settled, we don't get the super fight of Izzy and John Jones. I think that's in the garbage disposal. I think we'll never see that now. I think Izzy's going to stay at 185. However, would I complain if he were to go back to 205? I would not complain, because let's put this in a context what Izzy did. Izzy lasted longer than Luke Rockhold. He lasted longer than Dom Reyes. So Izzy, not a bad debut for 205 to go up against Jan Blachowicz, the champ who could put anybody away. So I think he belongs at 185. But if he were to stay at 205, try that venture again, I wouldn't complain, because, yeah, he has looked better against Jan than a lot of most people have. And especially when Jan's victories, because usually Jan puts people to sleep.
Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, I mean, debuting against the champion, that's, you know, it can't get any worse. Yeah, it can't get any worse for you than that. I mean, he could probably really put on a great show against anybody else in that division. Just when you go up against a champion, your debut, you know, it's going to be a tough task no matter what division you go to.
If they were to fight again, you think Izzy would change that up and actually come in oversized and cut down to 205?
I mean, a lot of those athletes, you can only get so big. I mean, you know, he can. I mean, his frame may not be able to handle that. You know, some people are just built that way. And if he put on that much weight, he's going to start getting to where, you know, it could be getting into fat territory and, you know, slow down his movement, which is something he's known for. So what are you willing to sacrifice to get to the weight? You know, his frame I just don't think it's built for it. And maybe when he gets older and, you know, you kind of get to where you can, you know, we see that a lot of times with fighters, you know, as they age, he's still very young and in the prime of his career. Maybe when he ages and maybe if his frame changes a little bit, you know, his body changes over time, then yeah, I mean, it may be a better fit, but I think right now in his career, he's best to stay, you know, where he is.
Okay. That being said, do you think that Yan won this fight, or do you think Izzy's lack of size lost him in this fight? Like, who do you think this was more Yan's victory, or do you think this was more of Izzy's defeat? Which one do you think was more of?
I mean, they're both factors. I mean, everything, is a factor in a fist fight. You got to take everything in there. But I mean, I'm never going to take a victory away from somebody. I mean, like we said, Izzy could have went in there against probably any other light heavyweight and maybe, had a better chance to win. So I mean, that's, that's saying a lot right there. But, and like I said, Yan was not afraid to get in there and fight with Izzy. So that's, that mental aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yan has been in a lot of fights before, like a lot of wars.
Tough,
so
gritty
he
wars.
knows what it's like. And man, and people go back, you watch these KSW shows, like back in the day, they were getting 30, 40, 50,000 people in these arenas. Like these were not little shows. These are big time shows. So, I mean, he's not, he's been in front of big lights for a long time. That was like KFC 6 and 7 were 3 fights each night when he won. So, I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. And I mean, you look at how long he's been in the UFC. So, I mean, he has a lot of experience to handle something like this. If anybody could have went in there and had the composure and keep his adrenaline under control, there's a lot of factors to it. But then also too, Izzy is not built to go, to fight a train, like Yan. I mean, that's a big, stout, tough boy for anybody to fight. So I think it all play. I'm always going to give the larger percentage to Yan, but I think you can't, totally negate, Izzy's factors coming into that fight either.
Yeah. So who do you think's next for Yan? Like, who would you like to see him fight?
I don't know.
Because the narrative going into this was,
I guess Raykich is next. I guess because I guess that was the whole thing with him and Santos. I guess whoever won was going to be next. I mean, so I guess
give to Raykich and Yan next. But I know one narrative that was going on amongst some media outlets was, and even Izzy teased it, like heavyweight was next for Izzy. Izzy said if Stipe were to beat Francis, he would like a shot at Stipe. So do you think you could see Yan stepping up at heavyweight and having a super fight there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he's of the mentality that he'll fight anybody. I just think there's too many that heavyweight division. There's always just something going on, and Stipe set the record for what 2 or 3 title defenses. That's all. I mean, it's been such a revolving door division. There's always something going on. There's always a new champion. Let's see if he gets past this person. Then you got Derek Lewis, on a hot performance there. What are you going to do? Are you going to make him sit out to let Yan fight?
Hot performance, hotter balls.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been known to go with the hot hand at the time. So, I mean, there's just always something going on in heavyweight. I just don't know if that's a division. We've seen them do it with the smaller divisions, put it on the back burner for a little bit, but heavyweight has always been, your glamour division of boxing, MMA, kickboxing. It's always been the darling division. Can you afford to put that division on the back burner for something like that? And I don't think they would do it.
Good point. All right, and what do you think's next for Izzy at the middleweight?
Who's Whitaker facing?
I know Whitaker's got somebody up. I feel like I should know this. But yeah, I think he'll be the winner out of Whitaker and his next opponent.
Yeah, I'm thinking Whitaker might get another shot. I just can't. If he gets the win, I could see them get Whitaker getting another shot at that, and them just trying to keep that that going. But yeah, I mean, right now there's no names that are jumping out and jumping to the forefront right now to take over. So they're just kind of going with the numbers for right now until somebody jumps out. Like in the heavyweight division, you got these names like Derek Lewis with a hot performance, really bolstering himself, putting himself up there. You don't really have that in these middle divisions here. So you're just kind of just going off of the standings at that point unless you have somebody jump off the page at you.
Yeah. All right. And before we get into our other fights from the main card 250 side, 259, let's go ahead and bring in A side, Austin Soileau on. Austin, what's up? Long time no see. How you been?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
What's up?
All right, Austin, going down in weight class, how does that feel?
Man, it's crazy. I actually feel like I'm going to make 125 easier than I've ever made 135.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you're feeling good right now.
I'm feeling this is the best. I know it's very cliche and this and that, but this is the absolute best shape I've ever been in my life. And
I mean, I could tell. Like you seem like you're in a good space right now. Like you're all smiles. You got it, baby.
This is. I knew all along like 125 would be like, the eventual goal weight. 135. I kept telling people that was my lazy weight. My just getting by like off of like just like talent. With a little bit of hard work, of course, but that was not me dedicated, not even in close.
Yeah. So with you going down in size, I've always said this: when a fighter goes down in size, weight class, and he's fighting for the title, I always feel like the champion is the challenger in this because he's fighting the guy who's usually bigger. So
right
in this one, you're legitimately, in my opinion, the A side on this going into this main event. So who are you fighting, and what can you tell us about your opponent?
So I'm fighting Lachlan Christonis. He's a gladiator out of Lafayette. I think it's going to be very similar to the Gage Gill fight. He's I think he's better than Gage Gill. I give him that. I'm not sleeping on this guy. He's legit, man. His boxing is crisp. He hits pretty hard. It should be another banger, but that's the ones that I want. I don't want no easy fights. I don't want none of that crap, man.
Right.
Give me some of that real shit.
Yeah, because you and Gage's fight was a banger and a half, dude. Yeah. I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't know how to react. It's like I know Gage. We talked to Gage. We talked to you. And I'm cheering for both. Every time somebody would land something, I'm like, yeah. And then you would land something, I'm like, yeah. That was just one of the most fun fights I've seen in a long time, man. Especially in the smaller promotion. So that was awesome. So I'm hoping for a bet like the same type of performance coming into this title fight.
I mean, it's like no, I'm gonna bring the same energy. I mean, if more energy, honestly. I mean, like I said, I'm in better shape. I feel so good, but also, if it takes two for those type of fights, and
right,
I told y'all that before that fight, I expected hell with Gage Gill. Little fucker's tough. Fucker is tough, man, and it's all respect with Gage. We had our thing, but it was a good fight. I wanted to run it back. We were supposed to run it back. We don't got to get into all that, but whatever. Great fight. It takes two to do that type of stuff, though.
It does. So what do you feel like the biggest difference between Austin before the Gage Gill fight and Austin before this flyweight venture going on? Like, what's the main difference going on right now with you?
Just my man. Okay, man. I was gonna make it sound simple, but it's not simple. Just my dedication. And my dedication.
You say you're hungrier.
I don't know if I could. That's weird. I don't want to say hungry, but I'm dedicated, and I've always wanted like this. I knew like this was always what I've wanted to do and stuff like this, but I think I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Okay. So it's a different approach. What you're trying to say? It's
100% like this. Me and my coach and my team, we had a long sit down today about just some things that's been on all of our minds, and it was good to. It just. I wanted to show that I'm not just this fucking pretty boy who can talk shit, and I just felt like the world needed to see how tough Austin is, and I always wanted to show that. But man, fuck all that. Fuck whatever. I just felt like I had to prove myself to people. Fuck all that shit, dude. I do this shit for me and for me only. If you're on board with it, cool. But if not, I'm done trying to, just whatever. You get what I'm saying. And I'm doing this for me. And I just feel like with that weight off my shoulder, that pride is off. Just not the unnecessary, because you have to have pride in this game, but just the unnecessary bullshit that comes with that. And
right.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's just I'm going there for me, like whatever.
Right. I've noticed that with a lot of young fighters that when they go out there, especially the young guys, they want to go out there to prove how tough they are. They want to showcase themselves. But then you said that you pretty much matured from that point. It's like, man, forget all that. I'm here for me. I'm here because I want to make a career out of this. I want to be the best at it. So I'm doing this for me. If the fans come along with me, that's great too. If I prove how tough I am, that's great too. So I understand that completely, man.
Yeah, I'm done doing the fucking sure, I talk shit naturally, but all the unnecessary shit like that comes with it. I feel like my pride in the Gage fight, that's I think that's what cost me the fight. Because all respect to Gage, but skill for skill, I think I'm better than him. And if it wouldn't have done the round, I think I win that fight. But he had dropped me, and fucking Austin, I gotta get it back. Nah, fuck that, I gotta get it back. You get what I'm saying? And instead of okay, let's be composed. I can snipe it. I don't have to finish him. I can win touching. You know what I'm saying? Point fighting. And it was a lot of lesson with the Gage fight, and I appreciate the Gage. I appreciate him as an opponent, and I appreciate the loss, as crazy as that sounds, because like my coach told me, let's see what happens a year from now. And let's see, had I not lost to that fight, I'd probably still be riding on just half-ass talent and half-ass skill. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
pretty much what this fight did to you. When I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say this. Please don't take it as disrespect. So pretty much this fight broke you down just so you could build yourself right back up.
In a sense, yeah, absolutely. And that sounds cliche too. Like, oh,
and it does.
He's gonna come back better.
Nobody likes a cliche, so I understand. Yeah.
But
it's really the simplest way I could put it.
And that's
these losses, they change people. So it's pretty much a wake up call for you.
Yeah, because like I said, this is no disrespect to Gage. Skill for skill, I feel and I know I am better than Gage Gill. He should not have beat me, but so that loss hurts, you know. And now, if in my eyes, if a guy beats you and he's better than you, okay, that is gonna happen. This might happen with this fight right here. This guy might just be better than me, and you have to accept those. But the ones where you know you shouldn't have fucking lost, those are the ones that really hurt. Because now you got everybody saying, "Oh, he beat you," and you're knowing that is not the way that was supposed to play out. But it did because of my actions and the shit that I did and didn't do. So,
right. I mean,
yeah.
The way you're saying this right now, it reminds me a lot of the guy who just lost this past weekend, Izzy Adesanya. Like, in his heart of hearts, everybody knew that he was better like all around. His game was all around better than Yan. It's just, it wasn't Izzy's night.
Right.
So that's basically the sense I'm getting from you right now.
Hold on. Okay, I'm trying to fix this freaking. It's doing the thing. I'm trying to. Okay, cool. But yeah, exactly what you just said. Yeah, it's some, and that's okay. We'll have those nights in the sport, but it's the ones where you, like I said, I know he's not better than me, but he beat me, and I have to live with that, and that's where that shit stings. So fuck that. We're not letting him skate by. If he beats me, that means he's better than me, not because of I didn't put in the fucking work.
Right. I mean, it's the fight game. I mean, losses come. Shit happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty about MMA as opposed to boxing. In boxing, a 1 loss, a 2 loss, or a 3 loss on your record could cost you your whole career. Whereas MMA, people don't really hang on the wins and losses as much because your losses in MMA can come from so many different directions, whether it's a decision, a knockout from an elbow, a punch, a kick, a knee, whatever, or many different types of submissions. You lose in the clinch or whatever. Because in boxing, you just lose in one particular fashion. Somebody just beats the shit out of you with his hands. So that's why people get more leeway with their losses in MMA. So with that said, it's easier for people to rebound in MMA. We see it all the damn time in this sport. So I don't see you not rebounding from this. I can definitely sense it in your aura right now, the energy you're giving off. Like this loss does not define you. What your next performance is what defines you.
And see, that's
the mentality.
Exactly what you just said. Exactly what you just said. That shit does not make or break me. And that's what I had to sit on that for a fucking month or two, just mad at myself, just upset, just hurt. I was really just hurt about it. But fuck that, dude. That shit. Let's see what happens now. Okay. We grew from it. I'm gonna keep growing, no matter win or loss. Always gonna grow. But I'm looking forward
you're
to
a young
this
guy.
fight.
I mean, it's not like you're in the end of your career. You're very young in this sport, so you don't have a lot of miles on you at all. I mean, age is just a number in this sport, but man, it's about how many rounds you fought. That's your age.
Yeah, I mean, although you can't have too many of those type of fights though. Those
right, those take years off your career right there.
Yeah, dude, that was good.
Yeah, I could you're so super young in your career, so it's not about the loss you just take. It's about how you rebound from that loss.
And this is just
like the old saying goes: you fall down 7 times, you get up 7 times.
Oh yeah.
But in this case, you fall down, man, you get up, you're taking at least 1 more in the chin, and you're throwing 2 more. Yeah,
it won't be no. I don't want to have another one of those. Like okay. The safe part of me is like, okay, let's not have another one of those wars because I know what it does to your body. But at the same time, I like to fight, man. Let's get it. I'm still bringing that same energy. Don't get it twisted. Like Lachlan.
Hey man, that's the heart of the fighter right there. You want to go in. Fighters, they want to get in these legendary wars. Everybody wants to have a Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner war. Everybody wants to have that Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward type shit.
But that's the thing. They say they want it. They say they want it until they get it. And then that's what you see what they're made of. And you see now everybody.
We've seen you. We've seen what you're made of. We've seen you in those.
Fight of the year, huh? Fight of the year, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
What happened with that? Y'all never announced it or anything. I was waiting for
Yeah, we did actually.
Did y'all?
We did announce it.
Yeah, we had
I never got the notification or anything.
But next year when we actually do, we're actually going to try to mail some actual hardware out or some shit.
That would be cool.
That would
fight of the year.
We hope to see you. I want to see you in another fight of the year, but at the same time, I don't want to see you in a fight of the year because a fight of the year means bam, bam, bam. But I want to see you soar. I want to see you have like performance of the year, knockout of the year, submission of the year. I want to see. That's the kind of shit I like to see from
fight of the year means I wasn't doing my best. That's what fight of the year means. That means I threw technique out the fucking window. It's I don't want too many of them. But if it comes, like we can fucking get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kill or be killed for you.
No, it 100% is, and I think like I said, all respect to Gage. I still respect the little fucker. But if that fight went another round or two. Austin wasn't stopping. Everybody's seen that. We can go 20 rounds until someone quits. That's like Max Holloway just did an interview actually with Joe Rogan or something. Yeah. Champion fights, man. Let's go to the end. Let's see who can, who's gonna quit first. But that sounds barbaric and crazy, and this is a sport. But,
when he said that, a part of me was like, I love it, but
but right.
The part of me that looks out for the safety, I was like, oh, that's bad. Then the fight fame was like, ooh, I would love it. Like the old days back in Japan where the guys would like fight no rounds, just an hour straight of just go time. So that's a part of me misses those days, but at the same time, like, man,
time we got to be professional, and this is a sport, so
right.
And it also protects us from ourselves.
Yeah,
because
there's too many guys out there who are too damn tough for their own good.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the nature of the fight game right there. Like Dana White said it best a long time ago. A lot of these fighters, if fighting was not a thing, not a career path, a lot of these fighters would end up in mental institutions, prison, or whatever, because that's all they know. That's all they know how to do.
Yep, 100%. It's a great sport.
Hopefully, we never see you in those situations. In a psych ward. Don't want to see you in Angola.
Yeah.
Don't want to see any of that shit. So
I stay out of trouble.
Always.
I've had my days.
So we talked about your approach to the fight. What has your approach to training changed any since that last fight?
Yeah. So like I said. There was so many layers to this loss and like to the growth after the loss. I don't know. I took that one bad. I took that bitch really bad, and just sitting in my house like for like a month with my thoughts, and like knowing he wasn't better. Like I was supposed to win that fight, and so it just made me sit down and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like you're skilled, you're good, but you're wasting a lot of it on bullshit. Just a lot of, and also keeping around like a lot of negative energy, worrying about the wrong shit. I just kind of had to like you said, just a breakdown of, who I am, like, and let's figure some shit out. And so I got my thoughts together, and that's when I decided, okay, if I'm going to do this, we're going to go to 25, because not just to be the bigger guy or the powerful guy, but also because by me committing to go to 25, that's going to create and make me maintain a level of discipline, because I'm walking around 152, before this. And so to get to 25, it has to be a whole nother level of discipline, because that weight is not going to come off by itself. Mm-hmm. Right. So I have to be dedicated if I'm going to 25. I have to be hitting 2 a days, 3 a days. I have to be getting the road work in. I can't just, okay, I'm going to go to one class today and just whatever. I can fight forever, whatever. I can't do that. The weight's not going to come off. Okay. So this, if I'm not showing up to, at least two a days, and I get on that scale and I'm like, fuck, so it just brought out a whole nother, just dedication and discipline, and being this is the first camp. Like, this is, as crazy as it sounds, this is the first fight that I've ever done strength and conditioning ever. So the rest has just come off.
What was the hardest part of making this transition? Like this going down to flyweight, like what was the hardest part? Like the hardest thing you had to change up?
Just the discipline. Just the discipline. Just the discipline. Just, it's them days where you wake up and we got 11:30 practice, 12:30 practice, whatever, and it's like, fuck, I'm sore. I'm gonna skip it. I'll just go tonight. Nope. Got to get up and go. Just fuck how you feel. And that's what my coach tells me all the time. Fuck how you feel. Get up and do it anyway. So that's the biggest thing. That was the hardest thing, just to quit listening to myself. Quit listening to these little demons in my head, and just go do what I know I'm supposed to be going to do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Man, I'm ready to go get the heavy bag in the garage right now. You get me a little fired up right now. I just got home from work. I have put the kids to bed. I'm talking to you. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go do some rounds in the garage.
Yeah.
Set that timer up, wrap up the hands. Let's go.
It's just quit worrying about the shit that I shouldn't have been worried about, all the extra shit in life, and just do the shit that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. And not looking for fucking attention for it, like, or clout, or go fucking train and shut up. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's the biggest. That was the biggest thing. Is just put your fucking nose down, just grind, and
yeah.
When it comes time to fight, they'll know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by that, man. Sometimes I'm just feeling down, like, man, I don't feel like training. I don't feel like grapple or anything. Then once I get there, once I'm in that zone, it's like, why did I ever doubt myself on this? Why did I ever even try to puss out on it?
Yeah, I say that all the time. Get that bitch out of you. That's what I tell all my teammates. I'm like, hey, get that bitch out of you. Get that bitch out of you.
Print that out on a piece of paper. Get the bitch out of you. Austin Swallow. Plaster that right by my little wall of fight. So when you watch tape on your opponent, like, what do you see as a problem for you? Or do you even see a problem for you in that?
See, that's the thing. He has to fight me.
Oh, so you're not making it his fight. You're making him fight you. You're not going in there to fight him.
So, jokes, of course, but that is a thing. Like, so with my last few opponents, I would put way too much emphasis on what they do, and I would study. Like, I would fucking go to sleep watching all of their fights. I would know which, after they touch gloves, which way are they cutting. When they shoot, where's their head positioning on every shot? How many times they would throw a jab, or I would obsess, and that created a whole nother level of like anxiety that I think shouldn't even be there. And like I would, it's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. I would okay. My mind's all like jump. I'm not the best with words.
Well, shit, dude, you're a A+ talker in my book, dude.
I get cluttery up here.
A little scrambled.
I think my teammates been hitting me too hard. But okay, so I would obsess with them, and I would like Gage Gill was the background on my phone for a month leading up to the fight. Just so on them lazy days, I would open my phone and I see him staring at me. Nope, gotta go. You get that? So there's a thing behind that.
That's actually a nice little trick right there.
Yeah, and but I would create like Gage Gill had the hardest right hand in the world, in my opinion. Like before the fight, like that's what I create in my head by overthinking and overstressing on what they're gonna do. I'm like, I end up creating a fucking maybe like a hazard that's not even really there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like it's like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you're overhyping the beast in front of you. It's like you had a bad dream like about a spider, and then you go in the living room, you see that spider, like, oh, you're not as big as you were in my dream, so squat.
Yeah. So that it would create just that a monster that wasn't even there, but I've done convinced myself that it's there, so it fucks up my game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but so with this one, I've watched this film twice. Okay. And I didn't even watch his full fights. I seen okay, he's got this, he's this. Cool, got it. I know what I need to work on. Boom, he's got to fight me. Fuck what he's going to do.
Dance.
I'm going to that bitch and I'm going to feel and do what my training and my coaches and my teammates have instilled in me. I'm going to have faith in it and just go off faith and just skill and reads. And I'm going to trust my instinct without anxiety, unnecessary anxiety. At the end of the day, no matter if I've seen his fucking left straight 1,000,000 times in the fight, if he throws it that good, he's still going to pop me with it regardless.
That's one way to think about it. I like that mindset.
So go in there and just be me. All right. And y'all haven't even got to see me flow yet. Y'all haven't. Y'all see me in there worried about what they're going to do.
So the fight is...
Do what?
The fight's next week, right?
Yeah, it's next Saturday, a week away.
All right, how can we watch that?
That'll be the Fight TV app, I'm sure. Gulf Coast.
Yeah, Gulf Coast is
Fight TV.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one, man. We got me and 5 of my teammates on that card, so we got 6 of us. Man, it's been
Shout out to teammates, bro.
4 of us got title fights, so that's cool.
Love that.
Colin Richards. He's fighting Josh Langley. Colin Richards. I said this probably 2 years ago. Go check my first interview ever. And I said, Colin Richards will be a champion, I promise you. And he's finally getting his title shot.
Josh Langley's no easy out. I mean, I can't wait for that.
Josh Langley's tough.
Josh Langley is a beast.
Yeah, but Colin Richards is a different animal. And Donzel Marshall is fighting. Who the fuck is he fighting? Oh, Devin Scott, little wrestler fucker.
Yeah.
Donzel is just a freak. Like that kid. I have no doubt about that fight. We got me, and then Tanner Gilly. Tanner Gilly's fighting fucking Dennis LaBruza. That's gonna be a smoke show.
Can't wait to watch that, dude. All right, so Austin, it's been real, dude. Any sponsors you want to shout out before you get up out of here?
Fucking Performance Evolution. Love my team. Couldn't do it without any of my boys. Josh Quagan, for everything he does. Coach, life mentor, all that good shit. Gulf Coast MMA, James Sharp, Aaron Williams. All my sponsors. Jonathan Barrett, Britt Nunes, Chelsea Rowland with the little printing company. Just man, I'm all people, man. Everybody knows who it is. And
all right. So
and y'all for giving me a platform.
Yeah, hey man, anytime. When you win next weekend, we're gonna bring you back on here. You're gonna have that belt all spit polished in front of us. We're going to celebrate with you, brother.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on, man.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Holla, boys. Later.
All right, man. Take it easy.
That was awesome. Love Austin. Oh, he's so much fun to talk to.
Oh, yeah. Love having him on.
Can't wait to watch that. So it's going to be on Fight TV, Gulf Coast MMA. Cannot wait. All right. So he said 4 fights on that one.
It's going to be an awesome fight. Latchlin Kristanis is a very dangerous striker. He knocked out Josh Langley in like 30 seconds. I was there for that fight.
A beast.
Just
Josh Langley is a beast.
Knocked him out clean. He did a lot of his training with over at Beat to Sleep Boxing with LJ Morvan and Thomas Webb at T-Web MMA. So this fight's definitely going to be a banger for sure. This is definitely going to be a very exciting fight for sure.
Yeah. All right. So before Austin came on here, I was fixing to get into another main card fight. I want to pause on the co-main event. Let's jump to the co-main event, which was Aljimain Sterling and Petr Yan. This fight had controversy written all over it. Before I get into my thoughts about it, Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on this fight because I got some thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts on this one.
Man, I don't even know how to put it in a word. Like, I don't even know how to streamline it into something understandable. It was just wild. Like, with the first ever title change on it by disqualification.
First ever.
I mean, man, that's crazy. And Yan was up on 2 cards, but Sterling was up on another card. That was just wild too. And man, I don't know, just everybody saying that the coaches in Jan's corner said one thing, and other people saying
he heard something else.
There was something else, and they told him the knee, but they meant for him the knee to the body, and then there was just totally different stuff. Like, it was just wild, it's just too much to put together. It was just wild.
Right, that was one of the more bizarre endings, probably the most bizarre ending we've ever seen in that cage, considering it was a title fight.
Yeah,
and we finally saw a fight. I mean, we finally saw a title switch hands because of a DQ. And what are your thoughts on that? Do you think a title should change hands because of a DQ? Because I'm of the mind that, yes, it should happen because of a DQ. Because I'm hearing
it's a rule. You know what the rules are when you get into the cage. And like I said, being a commentary at these events, I'm there early. They have these meetings before every single fight. The referees are there. The commissioner is there. It's every single time. Trust me, I've sat through tons of them. The commissioner and the referees go through everything. You can do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can do this. Every single time. They open it up for questions. They clarify any questions that you have about a certain strike or a certain hold. Or like amateurs, you can't do a knee bar. But, they go through all of that stuff. So, I mean, these rules going into it. I'm sure even more so at that level, you have very specified contracts, at the UFC level for a title. I'm sure it's even more specified than that. I mean, you know what it is. Getting to that point, you should be a professional at the highest level at that point. You should know what the rules are. And it is what it is. I mean, it's same any other sport. If you get disqualified, you lose. I mean, so why would this be any different?
And part of my rants for tonight against the fans, I saw a lot of fans on social media saying, oh, Aljo shouldn't get the title because of disqualification. I call BS on that, because what is the incentive for the champion to actually go out there and go the distance if the title doesn't change hands via disqualification? Like, think about it. Aljo was up on one scorecard. Had it been kind of clear that, hypothetically speaking, say that the fight was going Aljo's way, who's to say that Yan couldn't throw that knee a lot earlier, disqualify himself? Well, I'm disqualified. I lost, but hey, I'm still a champ. That's a thing that's been brought before the commission before that title shouldn't change it. But the commission's explained just like that. There has to be an incentive for the champion not to get himself intentionally disqualified.
Yeah, it's going to end up like pro wrestling. You got
like
the count out on purpose to keep your belt and stuff. It's going to start getting wilder than what it already is. If champions know, I mean, it's a different breed for a fight. A lot of these guys get in there and they 99% of them want to fight. They don't care. They'll fight for 20 rounds if you tell them to. They're a different mindset. But I mean, you're going to have that one that's going to look for that way out to keep that belt. And I guess that's what they're trying to safeguard against.
Right. Do you think Yan is deserving of the automatic rematch, considering that?
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think he was winning the fight. So, I mean, how they want to address that as far as punishment, I mean, I don't know. We've seen the UFC do all kind of stuff. You never know. They may, put him in the corner for a little while and, make him fight, have another fight or something. I mean, you never know. They do all kind of wild stuff. It just depends. I mean, before the DQ, I think Yan was winning the fight. So on that merit, yeah, I think he should get a title shot again. I mean, he was the champion. He didn't lose per se. I mean, call it the loss however you want to. He didn't get the decision against him. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get submitted. So, yeah, I feel he should. That way we kind of get more of a clarification, because now Sterling's always going to have that asterisk next to his name as far as being the champion, So I think for Sterling, too, it would help solidify if he wins, and, it kind of clarifies it a little bit for him. So I think it could help both guys out to have a rematch, kind of clarify, standings a little bit.
I mean, I'm of the mind that I think Yan should set out the next fight. I mean, I think if a title fight does go by disqualification, titles changes hand that way, even with Yan winning, there has to be a punishment to go along with that. And I think it should be Dominic Cruz who gets the next fight at next fight it's Aljo, and we'll see how the cards fall with Sandhagen, Dillashaw, see how that happens, and have Yan wait and see what happens. That's just my opinion on that, because I think there still needs to be a punishment besides just you lost your title. Because the way I see it, it needs to be treated as you lost, not like you lost on a technicality. No, you just straight up lost because you knew the rule. And you intentionally did this. You knew he was down. So not only do you lose your title, you lost the fight in general. So you got to work your way back up. So that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, you could look at it from a lot of different ways. And also what we talked about with Austin, too, in MMA, your losses are looked at different than in boxing because there's so many ways it can happen. That's about as odd as it can happen, So if you take into it's a loss. You look at the L column, it's there. But then you look at the full circumstances around it, and it kind of murks the water a little bit. And the thing is with commissions, it makes it worse because they're all different, so there's just so many different factors, of what could happen next. So I don't even know if he's going to have a hearing. I haven't heard anything. I mean, I don't know if he's going to have a commission hearing or anything. I don't know if he's going to be punished on that level or if it's just going to be, UFC. But I mean, you lost your belt. That's a pretty big punishment. So, I mean, we'll just see how far they want to push it. I mean, if it was John Jones, he'd be fighting for the title next week again. So, I mean, it it just is what it is, so we'll just see how much they like Petr Yan, unfortunately to say it like that, but we'll find out how much they love him.
Yeah. I mean, Yan looked good. Aljo looked pretty decent. The first two rounds, I thought Aljo looked damn good. And then he just lost his gas tank and that was it. And that's when Yan took over. All right. So let's go to the co-main now. Let's go talk about how Amanda Nunes just straight up beat the dog piss out of Megan Anderson. I thought that was going to be an upset. I thought Megan was going to use her size the way Yan was going to use his size against Izzy. I was wrong. Wasn't that the only fight we predicted differently? And I lost.
Yeah. Wait, maybe now she'll get the title in PFL or Bellator or wherever she goes now.
There you go. Because I think this is the only title challenger I can think of ever that got cut from their promotion after losing the title.
Yeah, I can't think of any offhand either, but you have to build up quite a run to get a title shot. So yeah, it's not normally that happens, but I mean, could have been other mitigating factors. We never know. We don't know how many fights she had on a contract. We don't know if she wanted out. There's so many different things, but yeah, she may want to jump in that PFL, thing, get in there with Kayla Harrison. That could be interesting
Which brings me to my next thing. Clarissa Shileds after the fight. Something that got lost in the sauce was Clarissa Shileds kind of did a soft call out to Amanda Nunes. And when that happened, I'm thinking, let's do this now. I know it's PFL. And if Dana's that damn convinced that Nunes is the best in the world, I think this is the time the iron is hot. You got to strike it. So is this the time to co-promote Dana? I mean, he's co-promoted before with the Money Team and Zuffa Box. I mean, he's done that before. So do you think this will be the first time we can see him co-promote UFC with anything?
Not unless it's going to make him money like Mayweather. Because just like we talk about with the boxing, we can't even get boxing fights in boxing that we want. It's the same thing with Dana. Who's going to get the TV rights? Who's going to get, merchandising percentages.
Well, obviously,
Pay-per-view.
if I was Ray Sefo, I'd be like, look, I just want my girl in there. We'll do it under your banner. We'll do it. Just give us a cut. I want my girl in there against.
But what's the cut? That's the thing. All these guys are there for a reason. I mean, it's very expensive for a regional show, just a small local MMA show. It's about $35,000 to put on a show for a just local regional promotion. So, I mean, that's a lot of money for a little tiny promotion. Just think how much these are, and then who's going to get TV rights and who's going to get, there's a lot of money to be had. The fighters don't get it. And we've had that discussion before, but I mean, it goes somewhere and these guys all want it. They're all of that mindset, to make every penny they can make. I think that could be the only issue is where these lines will be drawn. Dana's not going to give up any more than he's got to. So, I think that could be the issue. As far as everything else out of the business end of it, more into the casual fan part of it. Yeah, absolutely. Because who are you going to put in there with Nunes now? And she's beat everybody. I mean, there's nothing.
That's their name in the hat is Juliana Pena. And I'm going to tell you right now, Pena is going to get smoked quicker than Megan Anderson got smoked.
Yeah, I mean, and then your second best female in the UFC, Shevchenko, she's already beat her twice, so
can't do anything anymore with Nunes.
Yeah, I mean, so
it's legitimately Juliana Pena, and that is it. But in the world of MMA, there's still there's an interesting little tidbit here. You got somebody with the boxing stink that Clarissa Shileds has, one of the best female boxers that's probably ever lived.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, it just, I mean,
thing for Amanda.
For like I said, for just looking at it from the casual end of it, we're on a whole different level of it. But I think the casual fan part of it, yeah, absolutely. What else are you going to do for either one, So, but then when you get down to the nasty underground of how MMA works and how boxing works, that's what prevents a lot of this stuff from happening in the first place.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to Islam Makhachev. That was probably I think that performance was more dominating than Amanda Nunes' performance because Islam did that in 3 damn rounds and he looked so fresh after that choke in round 3. Like Dober just gave him that choke. I saw Dober just, here's my arm, do what you want with it. And Islam said, I'm pretty much just gonna arm triangle your ass right here, and that was it. But I think Islam, in my personal opinion, we don't know anything about Chimaev. We know Khabib's retired. If Dana wanted his next Chimaev, Dana wanted his next Khabib, Islam Makhachev is his guy. What do you think?
Yeah, in the cage, there's no doubt about it. We'll just have to, unfortunately, they're turning it into more of the pro wrestling where you have to have the in-ring and you have to have the mic skills. It's not like, how it used to be. But inside the cage, man, dude's an animal. I'd love to see him go against anybody. He was ranked 14. Man, he could fight with anybody much higher up than that. Yeah, he could definitely fight much higher up than that. So there's a lot of very interesting matchups for him to keep moving forward.
But do you think that this is Dana's new Russia baby right here? This is Islam? I mean, at first I was thinking Magomed Shapirov, but then I reminded myself Saturday, man, Islam? I mean, what do you think?
It still could be Chimaev. I guess we'll see what happens if he comes back. Like I said, I mean, I know he was having those issues with COVID. I mean, they ended up brought him over to the States for better medical. So, I mean, that kind of tells you, something, he's still, he may still be holding on to him because, I mean, you're bringing him halfway across the world to medically take care of him. So, I'm hoping that he's still, hanging on to Chimaev a little bit. But I mean, keep going with Islam too. Let him go in the meantime. And Russia's a big enough country. You can have 2 of them.
Yeah, and I meant to bring this point up back. We're talking about Yan and Izzy. After the fight, did you see the video of Khabib talking to Yan?
No, I heard something about it, but I didn't see it.
Oh, he was talking to Yan. He was like, "See, wrestling's what got you rounds 4 and 5. you kept I mean, and like a thought occurred to me when he said that. I think, well, it kind of more solidified my fact that Khabib is officially retired. He ain't shit. bringing him back. But when he said that, and I thought about Khabib and his Eagle promotion, I think Khabib is about to bring up a new generation of fighters, a new generation of fighters / wrestlers who are going to just dominate this sport for decades to come, because Khabib is Mr. Wrestling when it comes to UFC. In my personal opinion, I think he's the greatest MMA wrestler that's ever lived. I think he unearthed GSP. I think he sailed right past him on that. So I think he's going to use this Eagle promotion to push his wrestler fighters. And I think they're going to come in and just lay waste to every other style. So that was a pretty interesting little conversation he had with him. Because that's what I took from it, that this is, wrestling. So I figured with this promotion, he's going to be pounding wrestling. That's what he's going to promote. And that's how he's going to promote it. All right, so let's move on to the first fight of the card. That was Alexander Raykich versus Thiago Santos. Like, here's where I'm going to start ranting on fans. That was a good damn fight. And when you go to social media during this fight, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, what the hell ever social media platform you want to go on, and people were dogging this fight. I mean, you got two guys in here who could sleep any human being on the planet pretty much in a minute. And these guys were just, were they actually going there fighting in a phone booth? No. Did I expect them to going into this? No. I mean, this fight pretty much went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I thought Raykich was going to pick him apart on the outside. I thought Santos was going to try to get into his range and get him. But then the fans start booing. Even commentary was like, oh, this fight's not as exciting as we thought it was. But to me, I thought it was exciting. I thought it was a fun little chess match, and our guy Raykich came out on top. So what did you think about that fight?
Yeah, I mean, that's what 99% of what happens when you put two dynamic strikers in there. What's going to happen? Same thing if it had been two, dynamic submission grapplers. I mean, you're good at it, but your opponent's good at it too. You got to keep that in the back of your mind too. So, I mean, the anticipation is there, but then when some fans don't get that relief of the big knockout, then it's all a disappointment. A lot of your casual fan is a finisher fan. A decision doesn't mean anything to them, but they don't watch the whole body of work. But when you watch the whole body of work, you appreciate two guys like that can go in there and do that for 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, that was a fun card. All in all, that was probably one of the better cards I've seen in a good damn while. A lot of headlines came out, a lot of storylines came out of it. I can't wait to see what's next for almost every fighter on that card. So let's move on to tomorrow night's card. Let's go ahead and talk about UFC on ESPN number 45. They've been on ESPN Plus 45 damn times. All right, so we got Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Let's just talk about the top three events right here, the top three fights, because this is a loaded card. Let's talk about Dan Ige versus Gavin Tucker. Who do you like in this one?
I like this one. I know Gavin Tucker's on a little bit of a roll right now. I think Ige's coming off of a loss. But I know before that he was on a hell of a run before that. So, man, I like that. I'm gonna go with Tucker, just something a little different. Because I think Ige was supposed to fight Ryan.
He's riding a high momentum wave right now, Gavin is.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to roll with Ige on this just because of the run he had before he suffered that loss. So I don't feel good about picking Dan here, but I don't feel good about it. I'm pretty 50-50 on that one. All right, so our next one, we got Misha Serkinov versus Ryan Spann. I'm taking Misha in this one. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Ryan Spann because, just like I said earlier, these are two guys with very high submission totals, two guys who are surprisingly, for their weight class, very good on the ground. So I think it could become more of a stand-up battle. If so, I can just see, Ryan catching him. That's a big, thick boy for that weight class. And I can see him
both big dudes.
Yeah, I could just see Spann landing that shot. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. So I'm going to go with Spann on that one. But all of these are really closely contested. They've been doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm looking at the main card from Eric Anders, Darren Stewart. I'm 50-50 on that one. We got Nicolau versus Cape, 50-50 on that one.
Yeah.
We got Davey Gray. Only one I feel pretty confident in is Davey Grant versus Jonathan Martinez. I kind of like Davey Grant in that one.
Yeah.
So, and then we got our main event. Again, I'm 50-50 on here. We got Leon Edwards, who's damn underrated. We got two of the most underrated fighters, and not only welterweight, but all of the
UFC
roster. I think they're the two most underrated guys in there. I've been pounding my chest about Bilal Muhammad for the longest damn time. So that's what I'm going to take in this. I'm taking Muhammad. I think he's going to stay in Leon's face. I don't think he's going to give Leon much breathing room. I think he's going to grind him to a nasty decision. Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, this was close. I mean, I really think so. Because Muhammad, he can go the full 15 minutes, and if you let up for a second, he's gonna put it right back in your face.
And then couple that with the fact that Leon hasn't fought in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while. That's the biggest thing, and then getting in there with somebody like that who's not going to let you come, break yourself slowly into it and not let you come to a rhythm. He's going to be right in there in your face, ready to go. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Muhammad. I like the pace and the pressure that he's going to be able to put on. I just don't think Edwards is going to have enough time to get, really rolling there. I know they're both kind of decision fighters, so I just think that for that case, I think it's going to work out better for Muhammad. I know he's ready to go, and all the interviews I've read, he's ready, and so I think he'll take advantage of the opportunity. He's a guy who just needs an opportunity, and he jumped right in there. He's in the main event. This is his chance, and I think he's finally going to show why he should have got this a long time ago.
Yeah, I think the winner of this is going to fight probably Covington in a title eliminator fight.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
That's the only way I can see it going now. So yeah, that whole card's going on ESPN Plus. It's free if you have ESPN Plus. If you don't have ESPN Plus, do a free trial. Watch this card. Even the prelims, I'm looking at it now. We got Angela Hill. I'm a huge Angela Hill fan. She's one of the more entertaining women's fighters out there. We got Rani Yahya fighting. Rani Yahya is one of the best overall submission guys in the whole UFC. We got Courtney Casey fighting JJ Aldrich. That's going to be a fun one. So, yeah, please, y'all, watch this. So, Matt, are you down for some 3% Polish right now?
Yeah. I got a couple of things. I mean, we can
let's do it. This is becoming one of my favorite things about the show. All right,
I'm
everybody.
a little biased, but
Polish.
I kind of like this segment of the show. Obviously, got to start it off with Yan. Got to give the big shout out to the king of Poland right now.
We both called it.
So yeah, we did absolutely. And man, gotta give a shout out to the king here. All three of the major Polish MMA organizations have an event this month. So as it gets closer to each one, next week I'll pretty much just talk about KSW because that'll be next Saturday on the 20th. It's KSCW 59. I'll talk a lot about that one. And then Babylon MMA is on Friday the 26th. And FEN 33 is on Saturday the 27th. Man, I mean, these are the guys that are coming up and going to be making the jump to the UFC. I talked to Anton Raykich the other day. He's defending his bantamweight title. He's their only ever bantamweight champion they've had. He's making the second title defense. He's starting to get to where he's running through everybody there was. Before he was champion, I mean, he ran through everybody. He's starting to get repeats now. This guy he's fighting, he's already beat him before. It's the first time defending his title against him. So I asked him about super fights. It's like, I'll fight anybody. He said, I'll fight the featherweight champion. I'll fight whoever. He said it could be for his belt. It could be for my belt. It could be for no belts. He said, I'm down for anything. They tell me to fight anybody. I'll fight them. And like we're talking about, that's just how they are on that side of the world. We're talking about with Yan and all these guys like that. Ratchet's the same way, bantamweight. He said, I'll fight anybody. I'll go up and fight anybody. I don't care. They tell me to fight somebody, I'm down for it. So he's going to make his defense, so we'll get more into that card. But talk to a couple other fighters, Marcin Flipacek, who is fighting on the FEN card on the 27th. He's a young up-and-coming guy. Bartosz Lesko, I talked to him. He's fighting he actually fights for ACA out of Russia. He won his first fight in November for them. And he told me he's about to get back in there, probably their next event. He said, I'm going in there to bring Russian gold to Poland. So they're hitting it from every angle. They got the gold based out of America, the UFC. He said, I'm going over here. He's a welterweight. He said, I'm going over here to Russia, to ACA. I'm gonna take that gold and bring that to Poland. So, you know, they're just going all over the world and just sucking it all right into Poland. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll just kind of.
We talked about that, how every year it seems like a new country bursts on the MMA scene. Right now, it's Poland's time to shine.
Yeah, and Mateusz Gamrot has a fight coming up next month. He's in the UFC now after his, you know, double champ status in KSW. Raykich Duplessis, he's kind of adopted Polish. You know, he's from South Africa, but he fought. You know, he was KSW. He's fought in all those organizations. He's kind of like an adopted son. So, you know, he's got a fight coming up in the UFC. So a lot of these guys, both these guys were in major parts of KSW. Now, you know, they're kind of getting their thing. There's a couple other guys that within this year I could see by the end of the year making the jump to UFC. By this time next year, I could see a handful of these guys that we're talking about, that we're going to be talking about on this segment, that other people aren't even talking about yet, that we'll already have called to go to the UFC. So it's an exciting time. Right. All these organizations popping up in Poland. I mean, like I said, they have 3 major organizations. You know, the UFC doesn't even. America doesn't even have 3 major. You know, but the PFL, Bellator, and
we got the A promotion. We got a 2B show promotions.
Right, and that's kind of what Poland is. But then when you look at the size of Poland and the population difference, you know, to be on that same level, you know, and all 3 of these companies are putting out cards every month now. Used to be, you know, so the talent is. That's a big way you can tell too, is a lot of these, even KSW was like every other month. FEN was like every 3 or 4 months. Now all 3 of these companies are going every month because the talent is there now. You know, it's finally starting, you know, a lot of these guys from the Czech Republic coming over from next door into Poland and stuff. So, but the talent is just getting so rich now that you can have 3 promotions put on a show every month of 85%, 90% Polish talent.
That's awesome. So, yeah, everybody go check out that. Like, I'm starting to adopt Poland MMA too. Ever since we started this thing, you got me hooked on Polish MMA. Like, I used to catch some KSW results, some highlights here and there, but now I'm like pumped for watching this. So yeah,
you go watch those early KSWs. They used to fight in a ring with the ropes and everything. So yeah, that's a whole different. I'll do that for nostalgia. I'll go back and watch old KSW. Go watch old Mamed Khalidov and back in KSW 30 or whatever, knocking people out in a rope ring and stuff. Yeah, just for the
if I would ever start my own MMA promotion, it would definitely have some rope rings on it. It's just something about that aesthetic.
Yeah,
it just feels so old school, so beautiful to me. So I would love that. All right, so that does it for us tonight, man. So. Again, everybody watching, go subscribe to Are You Serious Sports on YouTube. Do us a huge favor. Go click that subscribe button. Watch us. Watch Blake. If you love LSU, you would love this channel. So please go to YouTube. Go hit that subscribe button. All right, Matt, you want to leave them with anything? What's the first rule about AYS Fight Club?
First rule of the Fight Club, tell all your friends about AYS Fight Club.
Amen. Like, subscribe, do what